I connected scales and songs. In this video, we're going to crack right into how you can actually make your own songs using the knowledge of scales. This is going to be a great video if you're more of an intermediate player, maybe you have a bit of experience already with theory. If you're more of a beginner, it's not really the video for you, but feel free to watch anyways if you'd like. My name is Christian Lee. I help creative guitarists connect the fretboard with songwriting in 12 weeks so that they can actually turn their unfinished ideas into finished ones with confidence. So the song that you heard in the beginning, it's called Steady Third. It's a song that I made during these past few months. And we're going to look through this song. I'm going to show you how I created it, how I created the chord progression and the solo. And if you want the tabs for it, you can find those below. There will be a tab for the rhythm guitar, for the lead guitar, and also a video that you can download if you want to see how I play through it from start to finish. So check that out if you want. What I did is I started out with a song by Sean Angus Watson. It's called The Audience of One Part 2. You can check it out. He actually has his own YouTube channel. He puts out a lot of music. He's not as active these days, but you can find that song if you like. And it goes like this. That's the first bit of it. It's a beautiful song. It has a very lovely chord progression that moves very fast back and forth. It changes keys quite often. Already there, he changed the key of that little chord progression there. And that is what really inspired me about this chord progression. It's the fact that he changes the keys. I think he changes keys 4 times throughout the song, which is insane. And I was like, okay, I want to do something similar to that. Another thing we notice about this lick, or this riff, is he's playing 3/4 times, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, but he's not playing like that. He's actually, the rhythm is kind of different. It's bouncing around a bit more. And so what I thought I'd do is I would take some of these chords, and these are regular bar chords, as you can see, in that A form right there. But this is a minor chord. And then what he does is he takes away the pinky finger so that the octave is not there. And you're left with this triad, which is very sparse. And as a result, it sounds more sparse as well. It sounds very thin, but it's kind of beautiful. Because when you listen to the song, it's actually just guitar. He doesn't have a bass, he doesn't have drums, anything. It's just a guitar. And so that's kind of beautiful. And then I thought, okay, let me try to change that. Let me take that exact chord progression. And what I often do is I take the chords and I try to see the movement between them. You probably heard people talk about, the numbers of the chords, right? The 1 chord, the 5 chord, the 3 chord, etc., etc. You can take those different chord numbers and kind of figure out the chord progression by assigning numbers to them. And you also want to play the scale, the different chords of the scale. So this, to me, it sounds like in a minor key. It sounds like it's in this key right here. That's E minor. Just like we have up here, but it's in a different voicing. And then we play the diatonic chords, or the scale of the chords, as we sometimes call it. So we have an E minor, and and then we have an F sharp diminished, and then we have this G major, and then we have an A minor, a B minor, C major, and then we have this D major, and then we're back to this one, the E minor. So that's the entire chord progression, or the diatonic chords, and then we can look at how he transfers from one chord to the next. So he has the first chord here, the one chord, the three chord, so he skips the diminished one, 1, 2, no, 1, 3 rather, 4, back to 3, and then he plays this weird thing right here. It's the 9th fret of the A string, 12th fret of the D, and then we have the 10th fret of the B string. I see this as part of the diminished chord, and this note right here, this chord tone here, it's part of the chord that he transitions into, which is this this right here. So this would be E, F, yeah, G minor. And so when he goes from that diminished chord into the new chord, which is right beside, notice how this chord tone right here, this is the third scale degree of that next chord that we find there, right? The G minor, third scale degree. So he's using voice leading there to go from that diminished chord into that next one, and the transition is very smooth because that's literally just one fret apart, right? So I thought, wow, that's really interesting, right? That way of transitioning. I know there's probably countless other examples of doing this in popular songs, but the way Sean Angus Watson is doing it is kind of interesting, and I wanted to do that myself. So I came up with a few other spread voice triads. Again, I'm putting out a lot of words here, so if you're a beginner and you don't know the theory, you don't know all the terms, stick with me. If you're experienced, you probably know this already. But so what I did is I created this passage. Whoops. So that's the first part. I made it longer before it changes keys. And that's when I changed the key. So I'm using the third there as well. Of that, in this case, this would be a C diminished, and then it goes into this D flat minor. So you can use that little trick right there, going from the diminished chord. It's not exactly a diminished chord, but you can kind of go from that. Use voice leading, the third note, to lead, and the highest note. Notice how it's the highest note. It's always the note that's highest in the register there. And so then you can change into that new key, And then what Sean Angus Watson does is he just he starts the chord progression over again from here. And he basically just plays the same chords. So it's the 1, the 3, the 4, the 3, this weird diminished 2 chord, and then it just goes on from there. So he's always playing the same chord progression, but he's using this little trick from the diminished chord to go up and to change the key. And the key always changes. This is why I called my song the steady third, because it steadily goes up 1/3, a minor third interval for every single time it changes keys, which makes it a little bit more predictable if you know that it's always a minor third that it goes up. So it goes from here, and then you literally move 1, 2, 3 steps up. So that's minor second, major second, minor third. That's where it's leading to. That's not exactly what I'm playing in the song, but that's how it goes basically. So where do you solo, right? Because when you hear me play this, it's actually a very meaty, there's a lot going on there. So how do we fit a solo on top of that? Well, the great thing about this chord progression is that it's mostly using the lower register of the guitar, you know, the lower strings. The highest strings it's using when I use these chords here, when I play these chords, is the G string. But I'm relying very much on the E and the A, and so it gets this very bassy tone to it. And then on top of that, I can just use the lighter strings, right? And then obviously I make sure to listen for the place where I change the key, and then I obviously have to move a minor third up there as well for the solo. So the solo I created, I spent probably a week or 2 creating the solo piece by piece, because it's kind of lengthy. And the way that I created it is, again, just noticing where the scale is. So in this case, the key is A sharp minor. So you gotta know where the scale is. I'm obviously failing a bit here. Oop. And if you know where the scale is, you'll know where you can come up with these licks. The way that I came up with these licks, or the parts of the solo, it's a mixture of me borrowing again from other songs. I'm a big fan of John Mayer. So that's lick right there. It's something that I took from Covered in Rain, which is a great song by John Mayer. He's doing a very lengthy solo there, and so a lot of my material that I'm using in my solos actually comes from his vocabulary. So he would play it up here, you know, he plays over those 2 7th chords there, and he plays up here in this register because it's in a completely different key, but then I transposed it so that it's in the same key as my own song, right? So I do a combination of that and also just coming up with my own things. I like to keep things very simple, very melodic. I'm not a very flashy player, as you might realize, but I love a good melody that just has an emotional quality to it. And then when it comes to just finishing this stuff, because I actually finished this song very recently, it took me about a month and a half or maybe longer. You know, you got to learn a lot of things so that you have a broader vocabulary, and then you put it together. And especially if you lead a busy life right now, as I'm speaking, I'm actually gonna move places, and I have a new place that I'm gonna live, so I have to move all the things, and there's a lot of things that was happening, and I could have easily just forgotten about all this, like this entire project. But the key with a lot of songwriting is just to kind of stick with it, because if you let life get in the way, then you'll never actually end up finishing anything that you're ever working on. So keeping in mind that you got to have a lot of patience, you got to stick with it, even if it takes you a month or two. That's what it takes sometimes when it comes to creating songs like this that you actually feel proud of. It also helps to have a bit of a notebook, noting down, writing some notes, so that you can always come back to it later, kind of saving your progress, leaving little notes for the future version of yourself to pick up, so that you can actually, just pick up your creative your songwriting wherever you left off. That's also a handy tip there. I know that I went through a lot of different concepts here in a very quick and easy manner. That's because I'm assuming that you know a lot of these things already. That might be a bad or a good thing, depending on how much experience you have. Feel free to leave me a comment in the comments below if there's anything that's unclear in this video. If there's many things that are unclear, feel free to comment. And what I normally do is I try to reach out to people, and I can even send you a short video if you need an even more detailed, clearer, or more simple explanation of what I did here. If you'd like to know more about what we're doing here, what I'm doing, which is helping guitarists connect the fretboard with songwriting in 12 weeks so that they can actually finish unfinished songs. If you want to know more about that, you should check out the Fretboard Flyer method. It's basically a method that helps you do exactly that. Go from just having ideas, not knowing exactly how the fretboard works, how to move around, to actually being more confident and free on the fretboard whenever you're making songs. If that sounds interesting, click the link below. You'll go to a booking page where you can book a free call with me, and then we can have just a friendly discussion about your goals and challenges when it comes to playing, and we can see if the Fretboard Flyer is a good way for you to move forward if you want to have lessons and use this method to help you move along. So yeah, that's basically it. Thank you for watching. Cheers.